The local park needs to replace an existing fence. Fence company A charges $7,000 for building materials and $200 per foot for the length of the fence. So that per tells you that it goes with the variable. But they also charge $7,000 for building materials, which means you start out with a $7,000 cost. That's the B value, the y-intercept. The initial value is another name for it. Company B charges solely on the fence, and it tells you in the table the charge for company B. It gives you the input, which is the feet length, and then how much it's going to cost in dollars. So that table there has these values with $26,000 and $31,200. So to calculate that rate that they charge per foot, we need to figure out how much it changed in the outputs versus how much it changed in the inputs. And so over here, if you were to subtract 3,100 or 31,200 and 26,000, you have $5,200 difference for a 20-foot difference. To calculate that rate, we divide the output change by the input change, or the change in the y values by the change in the x values. And this gives you 260 as your rate per foot. So the equation for this one would be 260, y equals 260x. So the company that charges a higher rate per foot, we need to compare the rate from both of these. And since 260 is more than 200, in part A, we would say that company B charges more per foot. Then in part B, it says, at what number of length of the fence would the cost from each fence company be the same? So we're going to use both of those equations to answer part B. We had y equals 200x plus 7,000 and y equals 260x for company B. We want to know how much feet it would take for them to charge the same amount. Since y represents the cost, and we want them to have the same cost, we're going to set them equal to each other. And we're going to solve for x, so that way we can figure out how many feet it takes. Now this is just an algebraic problem now, so we just have to subtract 200x from both sides. These add to 0. Over here we're left with 60. 260 minus 200 is 60. And on this side we have 7,000. To solve for x, we divide by 60. And x is 116.6 repeating feet. So it's about 116 2/3 of a foot. That answers the first question. Then it says, what is the cost when these companies charge the same amount? So now we're going to use this x value and we're going to plug it in for y. So we're going to take the x value and plug it in for x and solve it for y. And so we're multiplying 260 by 116 2/3. And that's going to tell us how much it costs for that many feet. And when you do that, you get $30,000 and $30,340. The third part of question B says, if the fence you need were 190 feet, which company would be the better choice? So still in part B, we're going to plug in 190 feet for both of these equations and see which one charges us less. Over here, we would get 49,400. And over here, this would be 38,000 plus 7,000 be 45,000. So this one was company A, and this side was company B. So for 190 feet, company A is going to charge us less money. It charges us 45,000, and company B would charge us 49,400. So company A is the better choice if you need a 190-foot fence.